Greetings folks, Pasta's here with a new hot build, and it involves our favorite power couple. Because it's death until I do your part, lady, because I really need that sword and I want it now. However, it's kinda funny that as an Italian I'm begging people to indeed not jump on that nasty mushroom. Or your dream of playing two-handed with magic is gonna be one save file away. Yes, the one that you never kept because you kept overriding the same one. Did playing modded Skyrim didn't teach you anything, old man? There are two ways to play this build. You can set up a piece of Druid Bane to prevent mana regeneration and go full murder hobo melee with that weird holographic sword straight from Doom. Or you can embrace your more magical side, wear cute dresses and ponder the orb while flinging spells around until you run out of mana, but instead of crying,
Not enough mana. I need mana. Mana. Please, it's mana. More mana. Meet your mana. I am over mana. Oops.
you switch to our lightsaber and let our blade penetrate the enemy so deep, it will join their dark side, probably several times. Alright, let's look at our gear. There are two pieces of gear on this build that are mandatory. Without it, this build literally cannot work. The first one is Hexgrip Vambrace. This will allow to convert our spell power, which is quite high, in physical. Without this item, this build has no legs to stand on. You get this one, like most of the items in this build, at the end of Act 2, so unfortunately this is not a early Act 1 build. Same for our Spectral Sword. We don't get this one immediately. So we will have to level up through Act 1 or 2, either a pure mage, a pure warrior, or an hybrid of both. I will give suggestion about it during the attributes and perks section. However, before you get Spectral Sword, as I said, if it's pure mage, you can use 2 spells or a wand. I would suggest 2 spells. You can use Aron the Light, damage is quite good. You get this one in Act 1, here after you finish the story, you can do the Lancelot Crypt. Otherwise, you can buy Old Steel Warhammer, which I also kinda like. This one is from a vendor in Act 1 here. But only if you didn't side with Galahad at the end of Act 1. Otherwise, that NPC is, well, Big Bonk is an option. The AoE is not massive. The weapon is quite good in Act 1. Or if you follow the quest line in the Barbarian camp and you choose Blacksmith, you can make yourself 2 axes. One for you and one for the quest. Alternative Thornsword. Thornsword is annoying to manage because of the health loss, but the damage of Thornsword is quite good. If you want to use it, it's up to you. However, this is the kind of weapon that you will have to switch out, but since we switch out of our main weapon anyway. As I said in the intro regarding Druid Bane, this build will use a piece of Druid Bane, ideally the helmet, if your crit is good. Otherwise, you will have to make a sacrifice. If you don't want to play with Druid Bane or your crit is low, you will have to use Sir Gawain. Location is here. You need to finish Act 2. Sir Gawain is amazing, and in the base game, you will have to use Sir Gawain helmet. For the boots, Spellwarden are amazing. However, there is a small problem. Depending on your level, you will not be able to sustain Spellwarden in the base game that much. In that case, you can either use the Druid Bane boots, or Crow's boots, or even Night Stalker, or you can even use Fledglings if you didn't finish the Children of Morrigan questline. The location of the Children of Morrigan questline starts here, in this location. You need to do everything, and you need to side with Self through the entire questline. For pants, you need Spellwarden. Spellwarden are amazing, give you a lot of damage. There is no alternatives to Spellwarden. Spellwarden, both pants and boots are crafted. I will have the location later in the video. In case you are bugged, you cannot find the recipe or whatever, you can use Fledglings from the Children of Morrigan or Tainted Priestess leg cover. This will give you a lot of mana. For back item, best in slot is Winged Cavalier. This one is crafted in Act 3. If you do not want to craft yourself Winged Cavalier, use something that gives you critical chance. Otherwise, you will have to put points out of spirituality and put them in perception, which is not ideal, because every point of spirituality is equal to 6 points of mana. Before that, you can use Dual Knight Cape from Abigor if you are investing early in strength. In Act 3, you can use Ashen Veil Cloak. This is the discount version on this build for Winged Cavalier because it gives you much less crit. You can use this one as well. You can even use Volker's Totem as well from Act 1, but I do not suggest it. Winged Cavalier is way better. For Amulet, Archdruid, there is no other option because in New Game Plus it will give you 40% mana. That is insane. You need this Amulet. In alternative, if you do not want to use Archdruid, play a different build. For chest, Doublet of the Last Jest, finish Act 2, go in the Crypt here and do your thing. However, if you're pushing your mana higher, Netherbloom will give you insane amount of mana. Like 50% mana increase is insane. So a compromise between Netherbloom and Doublet of the Last Jest is Frozen Seer. For rings, 2 crit rings. If your crit is good, use mana rings. If it's not good, use critical strike rings. Very simple. Okay, let's look at our stats. These are my final stats. Disclaimer, I played Act 1 as a mage and most of Act 2 as a mage. Then I switched to warrior when I had my gear. If you want to start out as a warrior, you will either have to respec later or put more points in strength because 13 in strength when you're playing as warrior is really not that high. These are the minimum requirement. 13 strength, 15 endurance, 8 dexterity, 20 spirituality, okay? Practicality none unless you use pieces of the cross set. And then you want to have 10 perception. Afterward, you split your points between spirituality and perception. Okay, but what if I want to play as a full hybrid? 6 points in spirituality, 6 points in endurance. This allows you to use the Waning Moon set and other items as well, like Spellslinger. 6 points in strength, you can kill Abigor, get your duelist parts, and you can start and mix and match. Afterwards, I would suggest 10 spirituality, 10 strength, 10 endurance. If you are planning to use pieces that require dexterity, remember you need 8 dexterity at the end of everything. You can put them in. Then you want to pump up that perception. Let's look at the skill tree. Again, this is a matter of preference depending if you want to cast more spells or strength at the start. So I will put points assuming that you are going in spirituality first. Max Arcane Teaching, go in dexterity, 1 point in Strong Armored Bowmaster, Marksman, 3 points. Go back in spirituality, 3 points in Tiresome Wave. Go in general, max Mana Battery, max Invigorating Energy. Invigorating Energy is extremely important because this will allow us to have more health, because otherwise we need more points in endurance, but you will not notice the difference very early because you don't have a lot of mana. 1 point in power and swiftness. Then we go in perception, max extra lucky, 1 point in critical cascade. As soon as you lock Red Death in Act 2, get Plague Ward and this will save your life. Then in practicality, 1 point in Born in Armor, 1 point in inner strength. Godly Physique, Executioner, Brutish Fighter, Mighty Blow, Fury without fatigue, Enduring Strikes, Max Unstoppable Force, 1 point in Unstoppable Impact, Dominating Presence, we go back in Spirituality, 1 point in Imbibed by the Elements, 3 points in Elemental Shock, 2 points in Charged Trip, 2 points in Charged Cantrip, 2 points in Infused Incantation, 3 points in Arcane Mark, we go back in Perception, go for the Eyes. Because we are a two-handed build, we already have sources of self-healing, but still I would suggest you to go this way. 1 point in Respite and Cruelty, 2 points in Critical Aegis, Max Bloodthirst, and then 2 points in Deep Wounds. In Practicality, Max Born in Armor, 1 point in Armored Skin, the best offense. In Spirituality, Sorcerer's Efficiency. If you are finding Sorcerer's Efficiency annoying because you cannot drop your mana too fast, then you can remove this one, but I would still suggest to use it. Eldritch Desperation is extremely important, especially if you're playing with a Druid Bane. You can take this one earlier when you go for Druid Bane, because it's gonna be up all the time, it's gonna be 50% damage. In Strength, we take Weapons of the Great Theft. Then we finally go on Red Death. If you have Red Death disabled because you're in New Game Plus, you will have to lock it again. Max Crying Pain, 2 points in Long Regret, give in and give up 3 points. Grive type enemies, Weeping Success for maxed, then Max Generation. 3 points in Perpetual Swings. Then in Dexterity. If you're playing in Veteran, you can take these points earlier. It will make your life very, 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 very simple. Temporal Sleep is your get out of the jail free cards. Any build can use it as long as you have enough stamina. It's not a problem. You just try to sprint and you crouch and you slide. If you're in third person, you also can see a cool animation, and then you can use that slow motion to reposition yourself or dodge stuff. These points are optional. If you don't want to use temporal sleep, you don't have to. Afterwards, you go in practicality. You put 3 points in exploitation of friction because now we generate bleed. If you are playing with spells that generate dots or conditions, you can use exploitation of friction earlier. If you're using double dots because you're like, okay, I want to use the amulet of flame on anything or something else, take stacking peril. Otherwise, I would put either in endurance for more health with increased vitality, or to get back into the fray, and maybe if you have extra points, exploitation of weakness. Stamina regeneration is still gonna be a little annoying on this build, so it's still good. And that is pretty much my skill tree. Now let's go through the location of most of the item needed for this build.
Have some spare food or coin? Anything else?
He lit and up. Yeah, man. You smell. You're not. Oh, this is. I can. You. To Leon, thank me.
I get.
But only at the tip. Would I still get to be king, or not?
You're so.
Well, that's it. Thank you for watching if you got this far. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and maybe subscribing for more gaming content. Have fun playing Tainted Grail, and I will see you in the next video.